It's West Tigers Faithful, episode 40-something, the Khawdcast, Wincast, number 8 for the season. I'm Mac, and I'm alone once again this week, unfortunately, as Reedy is in Tasmania still. And congratulations to Jared. He did, in fact, propose. Got down on one knee. Beautiful mountaintop. So join me in congratulating the co-host of West Tigers Faithful, who has... Oh, she did say yes, by the way, just in case you're wondering. So I did, if you were listening last week, I did spoil that. And we're very, very grateful that his missus actually has no interest in his hobbies whatsoever, or I may have fucked things up quite royally. As I said, my name is Mac. This is the West Tigers Faithful. We're going to be talking about a lot this week. It's a huge episode. It's probably the best... it's probably the best week to be a West Tigers fan in years. Like, let's be real. Like, we beat the Bulldogs and we beat them well. We beat Lachlan Galvin and we sent him packing to the scrap heap. So we've got so much to talk about. We're going to be talking about the COD. We're going to be talking about Dewey's contract. Sorry, I am at home because I'm a bit sick. So I'm a bit fluey. So sorry about the audio quality. It might not be what it's usually. But anyway, I digress. Let me get this fucking big thing off the screen. Yeah, let's get that out of here and get me up. That's me, McDougal. So like, subscribe, follow us on all the channels. This is the first time that we're going to be on X. We're on X live streaming, so if you are on X, comment. Shout out to you watching us on X for the first time. We're on YouTube. We post up on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that sort of crap. If you've got any questions about the team, about the performances, about the pathways, you got any interesting topics you want to discuss, drop them in the chat. I will get to them. I keep saying we. I have to remember that I'm alone. I am all alone this week. Well, I'm not, because I've got you guys, right? I've got you guys in the chat, and girls. I assume there's at least one of you. We have like one female follower named Steph, so if you hear Steph, how you going, love? It's good to have at least one female fan. Shout out to you. And as I said, I'm a little bit sick, so I do apologize if I sound like shit. Alright, on with the show. So what we're going to talk about today, the HOD. What it is, what the fuck is a HOD? It's the first time I've ever heard of this thing, ever. I've never heard of it, but apparently it's a big thing in the Middle Eastern community. And as most things that, seem to be, either ethnic in origin or young in origin, the boomers in the NRL seem to be all up in arms about it. Actually, that's not even true. It seems to be like Doggies fans that seem to be complaining, right? So we'll talk about that. Obviously, we'll talk about the win. We'll talk about Dewey. We'll talk about what do we do with him. Oh, fuck. I'm so sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. Hey, Steph. Yeah, you got a shout out. And we do have a very special musical segment today. One of the lads in the Tigers Discord server that I'm in uncovered a gem that I have to share with you all, and I'm very much looking forward to that. And we will talk about the pathways, the girls, and all of that. But first, the Persian war elephant in the room, the HOD. What the fuck is the HOD? Was I living under a rock all this time? I know I'm up in Brisbane. So I actually, we don't really have people from other ethnicities up here. So maybe that's why I have no idea what the HOD was. HOD? Am I saying it right? Do we have any Bulldogs fans in the chat, or any Lebanese people in the chat, any Arabic people in the chat who can school me on how to actually say this word? Is it HOD? I think I'm saying it all right. This is it, right? And apparently it just means this. And the fans are up in arms about it. I personally think the Bulldogs fans are being salty bitches, massively. And I think that most of them know it. I think that the vast majority of the Bulldogs fans complaining about it are either one, gigantic pussies, or two, absolutely taking the piss and know that they are. So shout out to all the Doggies fans who actually found it funny. Because as I've done my research, right? I have done my research. JC over on Instagram, Dragons fan, hilarious. Schooled everybody on it. He has HOD t-shirts. So if you want to get your HOD t-shirts, go over to JC Instagram. I don't know what his handle is. Somebody in the chat will know what I'm talking about. share his Instagram in the chat because we need to go get that guy some business, get some t-shirt sales. Shamus has a pronunciation guide. Well, feel free to post that up in the link. So it's a Middle Eastern gesture. It means screw you. And the boys kind of decided to give the Bulldogs fans in the stadium a taste of their own medicine. Now, everybody in the NRL knows what Bulldogs fans are like, right? This is not news to anybody. The Bulldogs fans are, without doubt, the most belligerent, abusive fan base. Not all of them. I'm not going to generalise and say every single one of them is like that. There are women, there are kids, and there are men of high culture amongst that fan base, like there are in any sub-community. But there is a much more notable vocal minority of Bulldogs fans that are belligerent, that are abusive, and let's be real, that game had a lot of emotion. It was an emotional powder keg waiting to explode. And honestly, the fact that the worst thing that happened is the Finers and Brent Naden did a little HUD is probably a good thing. What do you think about the punishment, though? I understand the NRL has to do something. I get it. I understand that, the NRL feels like they're compromised in some way and they'll have to do something. $1,500 fines, what I hear. If that's all that happens, then good, and we can put this whole issue behind us. The Tigers dismantled the fucking high-flying Bulldogs, the team that Lachlan Galvin left to go join because he felt like it was a better place for him to be. That's the story here. The HOD is a funny, postscript on the story, and it shouldn't be the story. What should be the story is the boys stepping up for Benji Marshall for the first time in an intense environment. I've spoken on the podcast in previous episodes about how, some weeks they show up, but it seems to be only when the other team's emotions, aren't really high. Whenever there's an intense environment like there was with, the Spoon Bowl and, a couple of other games that can't quite remember, but like the Melbourne game, when other teams show up with intensity, we haven't really been able to match them, but it seemed like this time the boys actually really were able to lift. They found that extra gear, which is really important. It's a really important development in the coaching career of Benji Marshall to be able to demonstrate that he can get that out of the players and also that the playing group themselves are capable of it. And now, I don't think that there's any doubt that the return of Jureen Buller played a part, the return of Samuela Fainu played a part. But I want to talk about the man of the match, the Middle Eastern man himself, Adam Dewey, who had an absolute ripper at halfback. Now, most people listening here are pretty devoted West Tigers faithful listeners, so you probably remember that I actually said I think that we should be playing Dewey at 7, and I think we should be playing Luai at 6 and giving Latu some time in reserve grade to pick up his necessary skills and develop his game. And it seems to me that Benji Marshall just seems to either somebody in the coaching group just listens to the podcast and feeds him tips and pretends they're their opinions, or Benji listens to the podcast because he went and decided to play that card. Actually, me and one of the boys in the Discord emailed him and literally straight up we said, "Hey Benj, listen, you got to pick him at 7. Let the man control the team. He'll do it. We need the general kicking. We need his generalship, and don't want to burn out Latu. And you know what? When this year, I've said a lot of stuff that a lot of people have disagreed with. And I think, once again, I'm proven right. So, you guys should all learn your lessons and stop doubting me. I do know better than you. I know better than most of you. I know better than everyone. You're never going to humble me because it's going to turn out that I'm right every time. And it's high time that people recognize who they're dealing with here. As CB says in the chat, It is quantum. It is what it is. It's just going to continue happening. Just like we're going to sign Joey Manu. It's going to happen eventually, whether you like it or not. So let's talk about Adam Doueihi. What do we want to do with Adam Doueihi? Well, what we know what Shane Richardson's done. He's issued an ultimatum, a final counteroffer. The Dragons have a 2-year deal on the table at $500K, and Shane has given Adam his best offer, which by all reports is a 2-year $400K a year deal now, which has been upped. Was a 1-year $350K extension off the back of that performance on the weekend. Adam gets an extra year offer and a little bit of extra salary. That's still $200,000. Is that going to be enough? It's playing brinkmanship, because I think Adam Doueihi has really proven his value to this team this year. Everybody knows Adam Doueihi has always viewed himself as a half. Right, everybody knows Adam Doueihi has always viewed himself as a half, and he's shut up and played center and done pretty much whatever was asked of him ever since he came back from injury, and finally, he's been played in the halves a bit over the last few weeks, and the side looks better with him there. He looks better there. He's proven himself. So much so that the Dragons are genuinely chasing him. And I guarantee you, if the Dragons sign him, they say that they view him as a 13, but I don't believe that if he was at the Dragons right now, I believe he would be playing in the halves. The Dragons do not have strong halves. I believe he would push his way into that halves combination very fast. I think he's a better half than any other half that they have. I think that if I was Adam Doueihi, it would be very hard for me to stay. But I'm hoping that he does, because I rate him. I think what people forget about him, he has had a rough trot with injuries over the last few years. And a lot of the football that he has played has been just coming back from injury, then getting injured again, or, off the back of like a lot of rustiness, and they say that ACLs take over 12 months to fully recover from, and that's why he looks the way he does now. He's the only man in the NRL, aside from Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow, to never be run down in a foot race. That's crazy. How fast is this man? I personally don't agree that Richo should have shut down and said that this is the final offer. I don't think that was a good move. I would hope that means that he's got another plan, that he's got something else up his sleeve in case it backfires, because it basically gives the Dragons all of the negotiating power. They know what our offer is. Adam knows what our offer is. He can basically just go to the Dragons, and the Dragons can just ask him what he wants at this point now. So it's going to be hard. It'll be hard for me to see him staying. On the Rapid React cast after the game, I was so enamored with Adam that I was calling for him to be made captain. Maybe that's, a bridge too far, but like in that game, when at half time, when we got in the circle, the Dogs got in the circle, we got in the circle, he was the voice in the circle. It's his birthday today too, I believe. So I think he turned 27 today. So happy birthday, Adam Doueihi. It's either today or tomorrow. It might be tomorrow, but happy birthday all the same. He's in his prime. He's in his career best form. Sign him up. Like, he wants to stay. Don't lowball him. I hope everybody agrees. If you've got any questions about it, or you got anything to say, we'll loop back around it towards the end of the show. Let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about the Dogs game, how it progressed. Let's just do a quick walk through the game. Start of the game, terrible. First carry, Terrell May drops the ball. And I know everybody here, just like me, would have been watching that and thinking, holy shit, this is going to be one dark day in the history of the West Tigers. The first thing that went into my head was, here we go. Like, I just thought it was going to be such a miserable afternoon. But the boys hung in there. And not only did they hang in there, They stopped a try. Sam Weller with a great try saver got in underneath. I believe it was it Crichton. Carraz got in under Carraz and stopped him from scoring. And then the forward pass prevented another try, and the forwards really got on top of the Bulldogs. And I think last week when we were talking about the game, when I was talking about the game, it was identified as possibly the game plan, right? Because Benji went with the 4 forward bencher initially, until he dropped Latu to the bench. There was the 4 forwards on the bench, and he ended up moving Sione Fainu into the starting side. But there was obviously an impetus there to beat them through the middle, because on paper, their middles are their weakness. They have some pretty fresh-faced players in the middle. And our forwards, especially Twal, I thought, had a great game. Again, Twal is having a really quietly good season. And the forwards really got on top of the Bulldogs, and off the back of that, we were able to go down the other end and score a try through really nice work by Adam Dewey. He was getting driven back and bounced off Sione Fainu, I think it was, who he ricocheted forward, managed to break free, get the ball to During Buller on the right, who delivered on time to Jarrell Skelton, who did really well to brush off the winger there. I think it was Renakama. And score a try in the corner, and then from there, we put our foots on their throat. We continued to basically just play pretty high percentage. It was obviously the conditions played a part. The Bulldogs kept giving us good field position, but ultimately, yeah, it was the intensity and the want and the desire from the boys that managed to get us that win. I think took the foot off in the second half a bit. Most likely was always going to happen, when the scoreline is what it is at halftime. It'd be nice if we would stop conceding tries just before halftime. It would be so nice if we would stop doing that, because it's such a massive momentum swing in a game. But obviously, going into halftime, Seraldo's going to put his foot down and try to get something out of his men, and they did have a go, but the conditions were just ill-suited to comeback football, and the Bulldogs are not a side that can score a lot of points anyway. So, look, yeah, as Steph said earlier in the chat, Benji outcoached Seraldo. Plain and simple. The game plan was good. It was better. Luai didn't have the greatest game, but I think he did a job on Lachlan. I think that getting under Lachlan's skin early was, it quietened him right down. Early on when Lachlan gave away that penalty and Luai was trash talking him, Lockie did not feature really in that game, really at all. He did nearly make a break at one point, but Naden pulled him to the ground, and that was it, really. That was all that we really saw from Lachlan Galvin. And, without getting good, good output from Lachlan Galvin, the Bulldogs, they find it hard to score. They're not an attacking juggernaut. So I know that as Tigers fans, it's pretty easy to fall into the pit of despair and, assume that we're going to get run down. But in this game, I kind of always felt we had it in the bag, really, because I felt like once we got that lead, it was going to be really hard, especially in the conditions for a side that's not the best attacking side ever, to actually pull us back and win that game. So, look, the question we have to ask is, what does it mean? Was it a flash in the pan, or was it something more? And we ask this a lot. We ask it pretty much after every win. But this win definitely felt different. The boys really seemed to be, for lack of a better word, galvanized. Benji had I liked Benji's attitude in the press conference and the post game. He seems like they seem really aligned. Like the coach and the players seem really aligned. The playing group seem really aligned. It's probably the most confident that I felt about our prospects for next year, especially if we can keep Dewey. And yeah, that was very strange with Lachlan Galvin pulling his hands away off that offload. And not only that, but also his effort on the last try from Samuela Fainu was very, very weak. It was like, oh. But yeah, standouts, I think man of the match was definitely, without shadow of a doubt, Adam Dewey. Had a fantastic game. had a hand in everything, made all of his tackles. He did a number on kick out. He did a number on kick out, man. Like, kick out, Adam chopped him down. That was remarkable. I honestly, if this like Adam Dewey from the last 4 weeks can stick around for the rest of his career, he's a player. He's not a replacement level player. He's a valuable asset. Especially if we can truly get him at 400k, the value we're going to get out of that man is outstanding. So I personally would have been making a bigger offer and with longer years based on the source material, based on what I've seen from him. So big shout out to him. Alex Twal continues to demonstrate why he's probably the best value player in the NRL. I think people underestimate his defense. I did a little bit of digging. The West Tigers, in terms of tackle efficiency stats, have probably one of the worst forward packs in the NRL, outside of two guys, Alex Twal and Terrell May. Terrell May's tackle efficiency is 98%, which is actually astonishing for an 80-minute middle. Like, that is actually astonishing. If you want to like do Moneyball style metrics, sabermetrics on the impact that has on a game, astonishing. Alex Twal's not far behind, 97.6%. That puts both of them higher than any Canberra forward. But from there, it tapers off dramatically. The next two are Seyfarth and Sukar, who are down around 93. And then we've got a whole bunch of players that are playing a lot of football who are under 90, which is really problematic. So we're talking about Sione Samwala. We're talking about Fonuabole especially, who has an under 90% tackle efficiency. When you compare it to the full cast of forwards at Canberra, they don't really have any forward that plays like consistent first grade who's under 93. So while they might not have the two big standout forwards, they have a lot of they get basically the same value out of everybody. So they don't really have defensive liabilities in the pack. Now, the system plays a part. The amount of pressure that we put ourselves under plays a part. But you can see for guys like May and Twal, it doesn't matter. They do it anyway. They don't miss tackles, even with the pressure, even with the big minutes, even when we put ourselves under pressure. But the other guys sort of falter under that pressure. That's where I think we'll see some value out of Kai Pearce-Paul. And I think it's why we should probably be, directing our attention when we're looking at players that we're looking to progress, forwards that we're looking to progress into first grade. We should be looking towards those stats and preferencing those stats. And that, Sukar is a good defender. So that can be justification for kind of tolerating that he might not be bringing so much value from an attacking standpoint. And yes, I am Kwamwell. Samuel Afinu, he didn't stand out big on the stats, but the match-winning try, it's the second time that he scored a try in that vein. So the fact that he's actually starting to wind up and run that line is so good, because that's so important for a back rower. Turn it up, okay. Here's a look. I hate it. I hate it. How do I fix this? No, it should be right. I'll just get closer to the screen. I think it should be fine. Yeah, cool. Anyway, Samuela also, as I mentioned earlier, had that great try saver at the start of the game. I thought that was Abby Coruscant's best game in a while. I think he deserves his flowers. He made that really good play where he chased down Crichton, leading to that aforementioned dodgy pass that Galvin let roll over the sideline, and obviously he put in that great grubber for Skelton's second try. I thought Sione Fainu in the back row, I've called for that a little bit. It was the first time I can remember him actually playing out wide, and I thought that was fantastic. I would like to see him play there more. I think he has a lot to offer. He's certainly of all of our forwards seems to be the one that is most likely to make a break or like put the defense under pressure just from a one out run. And Jareem Buller returning was a godsend. I'm so thankful to have him back. You can see the whole side just becomes more confident when Jareem Buller's in the team. He might not himself seem to have his hands all over things, but they play a different brand. You saw that kick through for him to chase. They're more willing to put up bombs because they know Jareem chases them. And he obviously is the fastest player in the team, as you saw from that break that Dewey made that he got away to Jareem and scored that long range try. He's like our only long range try threat, aside from Adam, so it seems. I think we should be looking towards the 28 LA games as Adam Dewey is potentially in the 100-meter relay team with Gout and Lockie. I think we need him to anchor the team there to have any chance of a medal. All right, that's the wrap of the game. Up next, I wanted to do a special segment. I've not done this segment before. One of the boys in the Discord server found something really interesting that I'd never seen before, and it's one of the funniest things that I think I've ever seen. Have a look at this. One second.
Fantastic, it's a great prize. All right, and look, the West Tigers act, they roll on, they keep coming, looking for the new victory song that players and fans can rejoice with. So here they go, West Tigers Act 2.
All rights reserved, Channel 9.
The Magpies and Balmain are the heart of the game, and the name of our team, West Tigers. For more than 90 years, there's been blood, sweat and tears, but we're here in the game, West Tigers. City and the West have given us the best of what it takes to make a tiger fly. So, watch the might of the gold, black and white, and stand up and roar, West Tigers! West Tigers! West Tigers! West Tigers!
Woo!
Yeah, there they are, West Act Tigers 2. Now let's have a look at the raw meter. Where's the raw meter? Okay, ready?
Wow,
For the raw meter.
I missed the
Go
footy
now,
show.
if you like it.
Wait for it.
Number one in front. Yeah, not bad. And it's good to see Gary Glitter make a comeback here.
Funny.
Okay,
What
then
for?
look.
How about that? Now, that is Dennis Burgess. For those of you who don't know Dennis Burgess, and I'm sure if you're a listener of this podcast and don't know who Dennis Burgess is, I'd be surprised, but you never know. Dennis Burgess is a long-time member of the Holman Barnes Group board of directors, fan of the West Tigers, but also director. I think he might be the chairman of the Holman Barnes Group now. Somebody who knows better than me can give a bit of a biopic of Dennis Burgess in the chat. But Dennis is an old muso from way back, and that's the man who runs probably one of, if not the most influential people in the Holman Barnes Group. So shout out to Dennis. I thought that was a pretty good effort. But for those who don't know, I'm actually a bit of a muso myself. There's a guitar over there. That's the proof, right? All the proof you need that I'm a muso. So I thought after I heard that, I got inspired and I thought I'd create my own West Tigers anthem and play it for you guys today to see if you like it. So without further ado, here it is. Let us know what you think of my attempt. This is what I would have entered into that footy show contest, because that was a footy show song contest to see who would make the best West Tigers theme. I think that they did a series on all the teams, but this would be my entry.
We're the Tigers, the mighty haven't made the finals in 15 years. Our fans are routinely left in tears, but we keep coming back for more. Don't look now, the other team has scored. We're the Tigers, the mighty Tigers. We are Sydney's favourite footy team. We're the Tigers, the mighty Tigers. Our fans throw remotes at TV screens. 25 years of pain and suffering, and still our boardroom keeps bickering. 5 captains and 19 home grounds. We get pummeled round after round. We're the Tigers, the mighty Tigers. We are Sydney's favourite footy team. We're the Tigers, the mighty Tigers. Our fans throw remotes at TV screens. We've unearthed the greatest talent in 15 years. Lachlan Galvin is really something fierce. 5 seconds later, he's a bulldog, and now we all think he's a flog. We're the Tigers, the mighty Tigers. We are Sydney's favourite footy team. We're the Tigers, the mighty Tigers. Our fans throw remotes at TV screens. We're the Tigers, the mighty Tigers. We are Sydney's 12th best footy team.
Yes.
We're the Tigers, the mighty Tigers. We beat the Bulldogs and now feast on their tears. We're the Tigers.
Anyway, that's that. Yeah, so that was my attempt at the West Tigers' new anthem. It'll be up on Spotify shortly. All right, on to the next segment. Now, look, we usually do a pretty deep dive into the pathways, and I'm going to level with you. I feel like crap. And given that New South Wales Cup got absolutely flogged, and I mean flogged, they got 50 or something put on them, and pretty much that bundles them out of contention for the finals. I'm not going to really go into too much detail without Reedy here, but I will say I did unearth an interesting stat. Now, I don't want to come across like a hater, but Heath Mason, his win-loss record this year is quite remarkable, okay? So Heath Mason has played 12 games of New South Wales Cup, and in those 12 games, the Magpies record is 3 wins, 9 losses. He's played 5 NRL games, not including being a replacement, and the Tigers NRL side's win-loss record with Mason in the side is 0 wins and 5 losses. Now, without Mason, the Magpies actually have a winning record. Would you believe that? Their record without Mason is 5 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. That's a lot of game sample size. So it's pretty hard to kind of, chalk it up to coincidence, especially because considering it sort of maps to the eye test. So I honestly have noticed that the team just does not play the same when Heath's at fullback or 6. And I don't necessarily blame Heath, but I think that it's certainly, on the coaches of the West Tigers to recognise things like this, because if he, around the club, the Magpies winning games when he's not there, the NRL side's winning games when he's not there, and he's only had 3 wins this year, that's going to be playing on his mind, right? That's going to be affecting his confidence. It's going to be making him play differently. I haven't seen enough from Heath Mason this year really at all to really understand why he's not playing Jersey Flag. Now, there are kids playing Jersey Flag that we have huge raps on. It shouldn't be an indictment on Heath to go back to Flag. Other clubs would happily move a player like that back to Flag, let him rebuild his confidence away from the limelight, away from the pressure of open age football, if they had his long-term best interest at heart, especially if you're trying to, turn him into something that he's not necessarily. And there's been a lot of talk about Heath Mason converting into a 14 type, super sub, but we've not seen him play that role in New South Wales Cup. We've not seen him play that role in the NRL. I think that it's in his best interests to move him back to flag and let him play a position, whether it is that position, 13, 9, 14, like the role that they have Jesse Lanyon playing, and potentially, swap Lanyon into first grade, into reserve grade, because he's been outstanding in flag. And it's like there have been 4 or 5 other players that have played fullback in New South Wales Cup, or 6 in New South Wales Cup, that have been part of wins. Mapapalangi, Lob, Naden Staines, even Max Lyles earlier in the season, I believe. So I don't get it. I don't know why we would be doing this. I feel bad for pointing it out, because I don't want to create any kind of further narrative around the guy, but it's something that I saw in the flesh when I watched the Magpies play. Really, like round 2, I think it was, that I was down there and I watched them. They don't seem to be as cohesive of a unit when Heath's on the park. He doesn't seem like he's enjoying his football ever. He plays better in the NRL and always has. He doesn't seem to play well in New South Wales Cup. He needs to develop mentally as much as physically. But I think New South Wales Cup are now out of the running. There's not really anything to report on from the positive about that game. However, the flag team had another win. They have now beaten top 4 sides in 3 out of their last 5 games. I believe that's what it is. They beat Canberra twice in the last 5 weeks. And they're on the march. They are not out of the running yet. It'll be a miracle if they can make the finals, and I can confirm there is a final 5. They are now on 24. Parramatta are on 30. The Tigers do have the Silktails up next. I think they have a bye though this week. Let me just double check. No, they've got the Silktails this week, so they should be having a win. The Eels have a really tough run home, so that starts this weekend against the Storm. But there are only a handful of games left in the season. I believe there are 5 games left in the season. Again, let me just double check that. One second, sorry. Should have done my homework by now. Yes, so the Tigers' run home is Silktails, Rabbitohs. No, there's four games, no buys. So Silktails, Rabbitohs, Bulldogs, Roosters. It's not the easiest run home. They've got 2 pretty easy games coming up in the next 2 weeks. Silktails and Rabbitohs, neither are great teams in flag. Then the Dogs and the Roosters are actually really close to the Tigers on the ladder. The Dogs are in 6th, the Tigers are in 7th, the Roosters are in 8th. So the Tigers, they have winnable games, and they're playing against teams that are around them they're either below them or right near them in the ladder. And the side that they're chasing is Parramatta. However, it's not just Parramatta, but it's probably Parramatta, and they kind of need Parramatta to lose 3 of these games. Because Parramatta are on 30 competition points now. So if Parramatta win 2 more games, they'll be too far ahead of the Tigers, even if the Tigers do win out. Preferably, you would want Parramatta to lose out, which sounds unlikely until you look at their run home. So their run home is the Storm, who are coming first, the Sharks, who are coming third, the Warriors, who, even though they're 9th, are a very good team, and then they got the Storm again in the last round. So there is a chance, a greater than 0 chance, that if the Tigers do continue to win, and I expect they'll win this week, and I don't expect the Eels will, so the narrative will start to build. They're in with a shot. So if you do get a chance to tune in, it is on Bar TV Sports every weekend, the bartvsports.com. They broadcast all of the Pathways teams, CRL, QRL, so much sport. This weekend, we are facing the Silktails. I believe it is in Sydney. I will again double check that for you really quickly. Yep, Lidcombe Oval, Saturday, 9th of August. That game is at 2 p.m. And the side is strong. They've got Deninger. Deninger sounds like a fucking anime character. Deninger at fullback, Taverna on the wing, Felity, Tatua, Naikori, Matai, Lyles, Broadalo, Haywood, Matale, Sakuru, Godinay, Lanyan, Tatua, Plati, Tapamos, Liata Gaga. It's a good side. So much so that the captain, Harry Delaney, has been relegated to the extended bench now. So they should be putting a number on the Silktails. And if they do, and the Eels, who should lose, do lose, it'll be an interesting run home from there. So tune in, check them out. They had a really good win against Canberra, and it was convincing. Canberra were never really in the game. Logan Deninger scored another excellent try. We need to lock that kid down. He is probably, in my opinion, the best unsigned pathways player we have at the club. I don't necessarily think that that's even really close. I think he's when I say unsigned, I mean unsigned to an open age contract, because we got Godinay and Tapam who already have dev deals. We got Haywood, who already has a dev deal. I think Denninger's is every bit as talented as all of them, if not more so than some of them. And as far as I know, we only have him on junior contract at the moment. I really hope we keep him, because he is a prototype fullback. He's very good. If you haven't already, follow NBWT on X. He posts up highlights of Flegg every week, and Deninger features all the time. He is a fantastic talent. He is fast. He is elusive. He has good hands. He's played lots of six. He's got a massive future in the game, and he had a fantastic game. And again, so did all of the same guys that we're always talking about. Lanyan, Taverna. Taverna had a really good game. He started off poorly, but he ended up coming good. But yeah, fantastic result for the Tigers in Flegg. The girls, unfortunately, they had to play a very, very solid Roosters side in the terrible conditions during the Magic round, and unsurprisingly got belted pretty bad. Not really much to report from that perspective. Look, they seem to be enjoying themselves, and they're turning up every week, so they've got good spirit, which is fantastic. But geez, they need an injection of class. Apparently there was a knockout tournament, an invitational, and a lot of clubs were watching some of the girls from the Bush and other codes. There was an American rugby sevens player that was at this invitational that sort of happened before the Magic round, and Kamali was quoted as saying that he picked somebody up straight out of that invitational. And he said that they have 4 positions that they need to sign for. So the Tigers' recruitment in the women's game has been, if they're 4 players short of a full roster, then all of the things that we've been saying about them not seeming like that they're paying attention to it probably has turned out to be accurate. However, they did appoint a CEO for, it's not a CEO, sorry, a head of women's football this week, actually, I believe. Let me look up that story. So they have officially recruited and signed there it is, 3 hours ago, Portia Burke. So that's the woman who was signed out of the Magic round. But where's the story about the chairman? Not chairman, sorry, the head of women's football. Yeah, Charmaine Steventon, new head of women's football. So Charmaine is a dual international, played rugby sevens for Australia, and she's been working in corporate leadership for the last 20 years, held senior roles at Toyota, Westpac, Finsure and St. George. And she's been the club's people strategy, head of people and culture. So she's been moved from head of people and culture into head of women's football. So that's pretty sweet. We need it because we are not performing well, and it's kind of making a mockery of the club, really. I'm glad that they're taking it seriously. So 3 hours ago, the Tigers announced the signing of Portia Burke. Second rower joins the squad as an injury replacement for Claudia Brown. Played 25 matches in the BMD Premiership up here for North, so she must be from my neck of the woods, North Brisbane. And she also played for the Rabbitohs in the New South Wales Women's Premiership. So good to see that they've added somebody there. Hopefully they add more. All right, that will do it. Let's do a quick Q&A, wrap this thing up, and I'm going to piss off because it's my daughter's birthday, and I've got to, happy birthday, Juliet. I got to make her steak for dinner. She loves steak. She turned 8 today. So first question, how do myself and Reedy pronounce the word root? The answer is root, CB. There you go, root. Where do you get a copy of the track, mate? I'll post it up on westtigersforum.com. There's a shout out for West Tigers Forum. What else we got? Do I think Luai and Galvin's hug was genuine? Let's check that one up. It's a good question to unpack. I mean, yes and no. Look, I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty obvious that they don't like each other that much, but I think that the hate is overblown. Like, it seems just like two co-workers that just aren't super friendly. Like, I've had co-workers like that, but like, you got to be professional. And it seems like they were still a little bit professional. I imagine Jerome thinks Lockie's a bit of a doodle, but like, you know, probably still ultimately wants what's best for Lockie in the long run and doesn't harbour any ill will. And I think Lockie probably, you know, isn't going to recognise what he's sort of done until he grows up and looks at it in retrospect. So, yeah, I think... oh, we've got Gus. Hello, what's happening here? Tiger Talk. Yes, that's right, Gus. Tiger Talk. What else have we got? More questions. Post them up. I'm going through questions now. Luai standing over him screaming was genuine. Who's got the worst culture, West Tigers or NRL 360? I think well, it's passing like ships in the night. I think, you know, now that NRL 360's lost the cultural figurehead that is James Hooper, it's all downhill from here, and the Tigers seem to be coming up strong. JC Bitar, there's the Dragons fan that popularised the Khod, and get over and follow him on Instagram and buy his shirts. Shout out JC, your content on Instagram is pretty funny. And yes, we do have first and go. What else we got here? All right, on the topic of Adam Doueihi, do we think if there wasn't the Isaac Moses links, Richo wouldn't have said it's the final offer? That's a good question. Yeah, maybe that is why. Regardless, I don't think it's a good idea to play brinkmanship with Isaac Moses because, like, as much as it pains me to say, the agents, they hold all the cards. It's especially when you have a player who's playing as good as Adam Doueihi, who actually has interest. It wouldn't surprise me if after last weekend's game, the more teams decide that they want to, like, you know, put their hand in the in Adam's cookie jar. I'm surprised Penrith aren't in for him, frankly. I know that they've got Talangi, but like, I don't know. I think he'd do a pretty good job as backup for both Yo and Talangi, and probably, you know, I could 100% see him doing good work for Penrith. So. Yeah, it could very well be. What else have we got? Oh, yeah. Brent's performance. We can talk about that. I tend to agree. I thought Brent Naden was very solid. He made some really good plays. I think that play that you're talking about there with Talon, thanks, Blaine, for the question, with keeping Talon in field by putting his feet there was pretty awesome. That was really heads up. And he made some really good tackles, and yeah, he didn't mess up. And when he doesn't mess up, he is a useful player. He can do good things. Nobody's asked me about why I'm wearing this Bulldogs beanie. It actually has I'll get to that before I wrap up, but it has some sentimentality to me. This Dogs beanie. All right, what else we got? Yes, Dennis Burgess. I believe you're right. He is in the ARIA Hall of Fame. If you're interested in listening to more Dennis Burgess, he is the frontman of the Masters Apprentices, I believe. I think, maybe not frontman, maybe guitarist or something. But anyway, enough about him. Who would win in a fight between Steve Urkel and Screech from Saved by the Bell? Urkel's black, dude. Just punching the shit out of Screech. It doesn't even matter, man. He'll stand on business. Oh, Lizana's been dropped. Well, I mean, if she's not on the extended bench, then it's safe to say she's injured, I think. Because even if she got dropped, she would have been on the extended bench. I'll just check. Yeah, she's not even on the extended bench, so definitely hurt, not dropped. And as if you would drop her anyway. Tough out for the girls this week. The Knights are flying high in third. $7. So if you think the Tigers are a chance this week, they're paying $9 against Newcastle. $9 freaking dollars. Dolphins, misunderstood Chads or rapists of the ocean. Well, I suppose it depends on which football team they support, doesn't it? Do you remember when Dewey was a gun 6 before he got injured? Do you think Romy back to 7 and 8 at 6 is the combo with Latu at 14 for a while? I do. I don't particularly think that it matters which jersey they're wearing. Dewey's the dominant ball player and the dominant kicker and the dominant first receiver. So if anything, probably be playing halfback and Luai's definitely more suited to chiming in when and where he feels like it and not being on the ball all the time. So, yes, I do. That is 100% what I think we should be doing. We should give Latu every chance to really blow up in the off-season and pick him in round 1. But I would feel pretty scared going into round 1 next year with only Latu, Madden, and Javon Evans as options beside Jerome. Having Adam there just provides security that I think we really, really need. Who's going to fill the Seyfarth void for the rest of the season? Yeah, that's a good question. I imagine they'll probably call up Kit. I don't necessarily think they should, but I imagine that's what will happen. I think they'll probably play Sione in the back row with Samuela moving forward because I think he did really well there. And I think that, aside from that, they'll probably just call up Kit. There's not really too many options in the back row. They had Eliel Zakam on the extended bench earlier in the year, but he's 28, so they might give him a jersey just as a thank you for playing really well in the New South Wales Cup. Maybe I could see him there. Maybe Saukuru gets blooded. He's been playing in the back row. They've got options, but I think that, they'll probably just move somebody off the bench like Sukkar or Sione and then bring up Kit. Buller's wife is in the extended bench this week. That's cool. That's cool. That'll do us for this week. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'll leave you once more with this fantastic throwback to the old Footy Show episode featuring West Tigers Board of Directors member Dennis Burgess. It's been real. Follow us on X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all that crap. Obviously, like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the bell, please. We don't get paid for this. We just do it for the love. It's been Mac. Reedy will be back next week, so it should be a bit more fun next week. It's been real. Thanks so much, guys. Cheers. Fantastic. See you all next time.
All right, and look, the West Tigers act, they roll on, they keep coming, looking for the new victory song that players and fans can rejoice with. So here they go, West Tigers Act 2.
The Magpies and Balmain are the heart of the game, and the name of our team, West Tigers. For more than 90 years, there's been blood, sweat and tears, but we're here in the game, West Tigers. The city and the West have given us the best of what it takes to make a tiger fly. So, watch the might of the gold, black and white, and stand up and roar, West Tigers! West Tigers! West Tigers! West Tigers!